Shalom Akim, all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. A salute to you sincere brothers out there of the hopeful elect. All right, I'm going to title this video, Death Be the Penalty, Capital Punishment, and the Bible. All right, reason being because when you read the Holy Bible, especially the Torah, which is the first 5 books of Moses found written in the scriptures, it deals with God's laws and commandments. Okay, and there's always a consequence or a penalty to pay for breaking God's laws. You know, some of them require that you make a sacrifice, an animal sacrifice, right? Some of them you have to pay retribution, whether it be cattle, certain things of value like gold and silver and such, and also there's the penalty of death in certain cases when you break some of God's laws. All right, so the Most High Yahweh and His Son Yahweh Shah is certainly supporters of capital punishment. Okay, now here in America, right, in Western society, for instance, so-called white man society, you know, there's such a hypocritical nation of people that they claim to believe in God. They claim that they're God-fearing. You know, they claim to be Christians, and you know, as they say, they believe in Jesus Christ, so to speak. Okay, you know, when they swear in office, they swear in on the Holy Bible. Okay, but yet they don't carry out God's laws according to what's stated and what's the consequence for breaking these certain laws found written in the Bible. All right, so they're very lenient when it comes to crime. Okay, criminal activity. You know, and you know, I've been doing some research on capital punishment in the United States. All right, on a federal level, they still uphold capital punishment, but you know, they're very lenient when it comes to capital punishment, and is, you know, basically dealt with on a case-by-case basis. You know, and what I mean by that is that you could have a person who gets accused of, you could have different people getting accused of the same crime, and they would do different, they will receive different penalties for it. You know, some people might get sentenced to death, you know, to the house of condemnation, the condemned, right? Some people might do life in jail, or somebody might do a lengthy prison sentence. And this is all for the same charge, you know? So it's a case-by-case basis, and you know, it's like I said, it's a lot of leniency when it comes to crime in the society, man. So this is certainly not a God-fearing nation, okay? Talking about America, you know, and then you have certain states that agree with capital punishment. They still uphold capital punishment, and you have certain states that used to support capital punishment but winded up abolishing capital punishment. All right, you know, that's why this place is known as Babylon, man. Babylon, which means land of confusion. Okay, you know, you have some states that support capital punishment, and you have other states that don't support it. You know. So the laws of this land is basically confusing. What's legal in one state might be illegal in a different state. You know, that's why the Lord said He's going to destroy this place, man. All right. Matter of fact, bring out Amos 9:8 real quick. It says, "Behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth." All right. The sinful kingdom is America, man. You know, what is sin? Sin is the transgression of God's laws. Okay. When you break the laws of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, you're trespassing against the Most High. All right, and that's what America does. That's what they promote here in this society, man. You know, the first commandment is to not place any other god before the Most High. Okay, and that's a sin punishable by death. All right, but in this society, they allow you to they allow what they consider religious freedom. You can worship any god that you want, you know. So that's a blatant sin, you know, among other sins, man. You know, murder, homosexuality, Okay, uh, uh, witchcraft, which is dealing with poison and drugs and such, man. These are all sins, man. But America promotes it. Okay, so the Lord said He's going to destroy it from off the face of the earth, and we know that America has His judgment set and sealed and written in the scriptures, the prophecy. All right, of this society being destroyed via thermonuclear destruction. Okay, it says, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. Yeah, who was the sons of Jacob? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Jacob is synonymous with Israel. Okay, He's not going to totally destroy the nation of Israel. Okay, that's why He got most of the Israelites gathered and centered here in America, which is Babylon the Great, because there's an elect few that He's going to save and deliver, when He comes back to destroy America. And America's going to be destroyed for all of its sins. Okay? And like I said, they don't carry out God's laws, man. But yet they taking hold of the Holy Bible as if they're believers of God, as if they believe in His teaching and in His word. Okay? So, in the so-called white man's court system, on the judge's bench, it reads, "In God we trust." On the back of his money, his fiat currency, it says, "In God we trust." Okay, but you have to question that. What God are they talking about? What God are they talking about? Because they can't be talking about the God of the Bible, whose name is Yahweh. All right, they must be talking about the devil. They're talking about Satan. Satan is their God, Lucifer. Right? You had what's this guy named? Albert Pike. He stated in the book Morals and Dogma, that the gods of the Freemason is Lucifer. So that's who they worship. They worship the devil at the end of the day. So that's why they commit sins. That's why they don't keep God's laws, man. All right. But going back to what I was saying earlier about capital punishment, man. The Holy Bible it certainly supports capital punishment. I'm gonna bring out a few scriptures. One of the most common ways of putting a person to death was through stoning. Stoning a person to death. Okay? This is Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 5. It says, "Then shalt thou bring forth that man or that woman which have committed that wicked thing unto thy gates." All right? Now the wicked thing is the wicked thing is talking about a sin that is committed. All right, that's worthy of death. Okay. All right. There's certain sins, like I said, idolatry, worshiping false gods, right? Adultery. When a man sleeps with another man's wife, or a woman goes outside of her marriage and sleeps with another man, those are sins worthy of death. Okay. All right. So it says, "Then shall you bring forth that man or that woman which have committed that wicked thing unto thy gates, even that man or that woman, and shall stone them with stones till they die." All right. So that was a common way of putting a person to death who's worthy of death, who deserved death for committing sins, breaking God's laws. All right. It was by casting stones at them. Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 21. It says, "And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shall you put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear." Okay, and that's the reason why there's no fear of the Most High in the society, man, because, capital punishment is not being carried out for, severe crimes that are worthy of death. And when it comes to capital punishment, in this society, it's usually done behind closed doors, right? Behind some prison wall, and it's usually at 12 o'clock midnight, in which they send the condemned into a death chamber and they give them lethal injection. Nowadays, lethal injection is the common method of capital punishment, or putting someone to death. The scriptures say you're supposed to stone them with stones. The modern day way of stoning someone with stones is basically like a firing squad. All right. When you read the scriptures about King David, and he fought against Goliath and he slew him, it said he hurled a stone at him, and the stone sunk in Goliath's forehead. So, King David was a warrior, man. And he hurled that stone with the strength of a person in modern day times firing a shot. Firing a shot from a handgun, because it said the stone sunk in Goliath's forehead, man. Okay, the practice of putting someone to death, according to the Most High, is you supposed to stone them with stones. So in all reality, to Western society, it might sound archaic or barbaric and inhumane, but that's the way things were carried out to instill fear in the people from committing crimes and breaking law. I'm gonna read that again. Deuteronomy 21:21. It says, "And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear." That's right. That's how you fear the Most High, when his judgments are being carried out and kept. Capital punishment. All right. You slave people like they used to do in medieval times, man. See, you got all of these election day coming up, right? All these different states got the race for governor. Okay, and these these political opponents are having debates and discussing crime, because crime is on the uprise in all of these cities and states throughout America. All right, and these Republicans and these Democrats that are running against each other are debating on how to deal with crime. Okay, we gotta be tough on gun laws and make stiffer penalties and give longer prison sentences, and maybe build more prisons, or no, we should get the people help. Most of these people are mentally ill. We have to invest more money in drug rehabilitation and things of that nature. Okay, but no one is talking about capital punishment, man. Nobody's talking about bringing back the death penalty. Okay, all right. And when you do instill the death penalty, you're supposed to do it in the eyes of the public, man. All right. I've said this before. You're supposed to bring the perk to the town square in front of the people, man. Okay. And you ridicule them, you mock them. All right. This is, of course, after he's been judged or what have you, right, and found guilty. Then you condemn him in front of the people. Back in the medieval times, they used to put you on the stock. Where they have your hands, they'll have your hands like this, in the stock with your head in the middle of it, and the people will hurl tomatoes and cabbage and lettuce and eggs and all kind of shit at you, man. And the magistrate will read the charges of why you're being condemned, and then they'll have the executioner come and chop your head off, man. And the whole in that quieted all of the tumult and all of the ruckus of the people when they seen that, man. There were hangings. Hangings used to be a common way of capital punishment in the society, and it was all done. It was all done in front of the people. Now, when the so-called white man used to hang our people, he did it out of malice, man. It was practically murder what he did. When you check out the book Without Sanctuary and read some of the stories of them jakes that were basically hung on them trees, a lot of them were basically pulled out of the county jail, the county jail or the sheriff's office, and hung before a mob before he even got his day in court. Not that he was going to get a fair trial anyway. Not that the brother was going to get a fair trial anyway. But the whole thing is that was practically murder. That was practically murder. It was unjust killing, man. The man didn't. In most cases, the man didn't even get a chance to defend himself, man. All right, against the against the accuser. So that's pure murder. But hangings were a common way of putting people to death, you know? And capital punishment in this society is not being carried out anymore, man. And that's why people don't fear the Most High. That's why crime is on the rise. You know, you got people shoving people in especially in New York City. You got people shoving people on to the damn subway tracks, man, and the train stations, right? You know, just random attacks, man. People getting stabbed, people getting killed. You got this drill thing going on with these young kids out there, you know, just through the fueled up off of drugs and in this wicked music. All right, this demonic frequency going out there shooting at their ops, but killing innocent bystanders in the process. You know, because there's no real consequences for crime in this society, man. Okay. Now I got something off of Wikipedia, capital punishment in the United States. All right. It says in the United States, capital punishment is a legal penalty throughout the country at the federal level in 27 states and in American Samoa. So out of the 50 states of the U.S., only 27 states still carry out capital punishment. All right. It says it is also a legal penalty for some military offenses. Capital punishment has been abolished in 23 states and in the federal capital, Washington, D.C. Okay? So on the federal level, capital punishment still exists, but Washington, D.C., which is the District of Columbia, is the federal capital of the United States of America. But yet, if you commit a crime like murder, which would usually be a capital punishment crime, you can't face capital punishment in the city of Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, because it's been abolished. Okay, and it's been abolished in 23 states as well, man. You know, and when you look at a lot of these states that abolished capital punishment, a lot of these states are some of the states with the biggest cities in America, like New York, right? Jersey, you got Illinois, you know, that in Michigan, you know, with Detroit and all of that. They don't support capital punishment, you know. And this society is so wicked. You got this society is so wicked. You have certain people protesting against capital punishment, man. And a lot of these people, you know, they act like they pretend to be God-fearing people. You know, they pretend to be God-fearing people. Okay, so the Most High is not with this society, man. All right, this is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 14, verse 33. It says, "For the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints." Yeah, the Most High is not the author of confusion. When you read the laws of the Most High, it's plain and simple and straight to the point, man. You know, God gave a commandment and he expects his commandments to be kept. All right? There's nothing confusing about it, man. There's nothing confusing about it. And if you break his commandment, there's a consequence to pay for it. You know? You know? And that basically brings peace to us as a nation. You know, if someone murders one of your loved ones, straight up murders them, you know, the punishment for that person to receive in return is death. And that brings peace to the victim's family, man. You know, closure to that situation. Okay? That's why it says, "For the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints." Okay? Yeah, because of course amongst the brotherhood, we deal with each other on peaceful terms, man. You know, with brotherly love all through the scriptures, like the Lord told us to, man. You know? Okay? And that's what we're supposed to teach. We're supposed to teach our brothers how to put aside your emotions and let's deal with things according to God's laws, man. So there won't be no envy and strife and hatred amongst the brotherhood, man. Okay? For the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. All right? But when you look at America, America is all about confusion. That's why this place is called Babylon. The word Babylon means land of confusion. Okay? That's why when I just read about capital punishment, it says you have 27 states that still support capital punishment, and you have 23 states that abolish capital punishment. You know? So you got to know which state state on a state by state basis when you cross that borderline, are you in a capital punishment state, or are you in a state that abolished capital punishment? You know, what's legal in certain states might be illegal in another state. So that's all confusion, man. You know, the so-called white man in his society is all about confusion. Okay, all right. This is from deathpenaltyinfo.org. Okay, it says time on death row, because I looked up the average time a person spends on death row here in America. Okay, so from Death Penalty Information Center, it says time on death row. Death sentenced prisoners in the U.S. typically spend more than a decade on death row prior to exoneration or execution. So the average person on death row usually spends more than 10 years, more than a decade on death row. All right. It says prior to exoneration or execution. You know, because some people spend so much time on death row after they've been found guilty of a certain crime. You know, they can actually be exonerated, man. You know, or that execution date could come up wherein there's no where they put in all their grounds for appeal that has been denied, and the execution finally gets carried out. Okay. It says some prisoners have been on death row for well over 20 years. All right. So that's ridiculous, man. You know, that's ridiculous. So a person could be on death row for 20 years, man. All right. Now that person that's on death row might have took a life. You know, maybe took usually it's a capital punishment is like a murder one type case. All right, where they took the life of a victim, and the victim's family, I'm pretty sure is expecting some swift action to be taken, man, to see the offender put to death. Now, if the man or the person is on death row for 20 years, there's a possibility that the members of the victim's family would die within 20 years, man. Will die within 20 years before seeing the person who killed their loved one actually put to death. So where does the family get any closure? That's the wickedness of this society, man. Because there is no law in the scriptures that tell you that says that a person is supposed to be in prison for 20 years to life, or life imprisonment, okay, or condemned to death after doing 20 years in prison. There's no law on that, man. There's no law on that. Okay, so this society is wicked, man. This society is wicked. All right, I might make a part 2 to this video. This video is pretty long right now, 23 minutes in. But I definitely wanted to bring out the book of Numbers dealing with the cities of refuge and the law on manslaughter, because murder and manslaughter is two different things. But yet in this society, you can be charged with a murder, get a plea deal, and they'll knock off the murder rap and bring it down to manslaughter. Okay, when manslaughter and murder is two totally different things, man. Okay. So this is a wicked ass society, and the Most High is going to destroy this place, man. Okay? So I'm going to end this video on that note. Say Shalom Wabarakim to you brothers and sisters out there. Lord willing, hopefully you were edified. And Abaratazah, see you in the next one. Shalom.